Hi guys, this is David. I actually had made a video before talking about my budget or my monthly expenses in living in the van, because that was a request that a viewer had. But I decided to go ahead and redo this video because this way you guys can actually see the numbers on paper, and plus the one I had before is actually at nighttime, so this one's lighter out and you can see the outside a little bit better too though. But I'll go ahead and show you real quick first, and then I'll go over each detail with you though. Hopefully this will focus in there pretty good. Let me back this out some more. Oh, wrong way, my bad. Well, shit. I don't know how this is going to work then, because it's not showing too good. Let me see if I can get it down here. Sorry guys for this not focusing. Come on, focus. Well, yeah, it just doesn't that figure. Now when I actually show you guys on paper, it's not going to focus at all. Well, anyways, I'll still go ahead and continue, and I'll still go down the line and talk about each thing with you though. So let me go ahead and get started with the first one. First one is going to be my gas, as far as my gas to drive around with. What I had scheduled that, or well, it's not scheduled, but I had talked about before with that, was an average of about $30 per week. But that's also before gas prices had started to go down. So you got to consider the fact that I'm not actually really paying $30 a week no more as far as on gas. But also, excuse me, but also too, it depends on how much driving you do. So that one right there is actually kind of hard to really talk about because of the fact that there's so many variables there. Depends on how much driving you do. Depends on how much heat that you use too in your van, for that matter, when you're driving around, because running the heat can also affect how much gas you use, of course. And then it also depends on what the gas prices are. But in other words, at the highest side it would be $30, but really it's not even that much right now as it is though. So that's that one then to think about. So about $20 to $30 per week is what you can look at then, as far as that goes. I'm going to go ahead and split this off too into different sections or different clips, so I can try to see if I can get this uploaded at McDonald's. So I'm going to continue with this rest of this with a different clip though. Okay guys, so we're back again. The next thing I want to talk about is butane. Butane, of course, is what I use with my camp stove to cook with, and one can costs about $3 from like Walmart and different places like that. At the most, I might use about 2 cans per month with my cooking, but that can also depend or vary as well, because it depends on what I'm cooking. If I'm just actually heating up some soup or something like that, then I hardly use any at all. But if I am cooking, you know, like steak, or you know, having to boil some water and stuff like that, then of course it's going to be different. But at the most, you can look at about $6 per month as far as my butane, and really not even that then, because you usually only have to do about 1 can per month anyways though. But like I said, if you want to go even on the high side, you can count that as being about $6 per month. And as far as my gym, I won't get into the exact numbers on that one because I don't want to give away which gym I go to, but you can say that's going to be $30 or less as far as what I pay for my gym membership then. And of course that's what I use for taking a shower and you know, stuff like that, and of course getting in shape and stuff like that. I'll go ahead and cut this clip, and I'll go ahead and talk about some more stuff here in a minute. Okay, so I'm back again, and the next thing I want to talk about is laundry. So laundry is about $12 per month as far as what I spend. In my area, there's one of the laundromats I go to. It costs about $1.50 to wash, and it costs about 50 cents on average to dry that load. So you figure about $2, and sometimes I do 2 loads when I go. 2 loads is the max as far as what I do though. I don't need to do any more than 2 loads when I go though. So you can figure that's around $12 per month as far as what I spend as far as doing laundry. Now that's not including laundry soap and stuff, but I'll get to that later on my list. Food, that's going to really vary a whole lot too, because I mean it depends. Like sometimes I eat at the soup kitchens and churches and stuff like that for free, and then sometimes I eat my groceries as well, and then sometimes they even have food at work every once in a while too though. So that's really going to vary, but you figure that can be anywhere from like 100 to 150 a month as far as what I pay for food. 150 per month would be the high side, but I really don't even think it's that much, because I also shop at places too, like Aldi's and places where you can really save a whole lot of money. Like, for example, a can of ravioli at Aldi's is like 69 cents, or like a can of beef vegetable soup, which is the same size as the Campbell's type that you get from the regular stores. There, Aldi's, I think it's like $1.19, and it tastes pretty good too though. So really it just depends on how many groceries I get, how often I eat at the soup kitchens and stuff like that as well. So it's going to really vary, but at the most you can figure about $150 per month though. As far as soap and detergent and things like that, you figure it's going to be about $20 per month as far as what I spend. It's not going to be a lot at all, because I don't have to get a lot, because I don't have to do a whole lot of laundry, and as far as my shampoo and stuff like that, I don't have to get a lot of that either, and it's real cheap anyways. Plus the fact too, like some of that stuff, even like my soap and deodorant and stuff like that, I can get that from Dollar Tree anyway, so I get that for real cheap as well, because Dollar Tree has a whole lot of good stuff too though, to try to get on that type of aspect. So I'm gonna cut this and get you another clip here in a second, guys. Okay guys, so this time I want to talk about propane. At the most, I would say about $30 per month as far as what I would spend on propane. But also, again, it's going to also vary, because it depends on how the weather is, depends on how how many cold days we got or cold nights we got and stuff like that. So that's really going to vary. So far, I've been able to, even some days, not even have to use my Mr. Buddy heater at all. So again, too, it depends on what the weather is. If it's 40 degrees or higher, then I don't usually turn my Mr. Buddy heater on, because my sleeping bag is enough for sure, and sometimes even then I still get even a little bit too warm if it's 40 degrees or higher, even with just my sleeping bag, because of how good it is. So yeah, it just varies on that, but it costs about $15 if I fill up my 20-pound tank all the way at one of the main places I go to, which is not expensive at all. I know some of you guys have said there's cheaper places out there and stuff, but by the time I drive to some of those places you're talking about, as far as using gas in my van to drive there, it's going to cost about as much or more anyways. So I might as well just use the one that's close to my area and just go there and just fill up for $15 at the most for my 20-pound tank. And so on average, then, it's lasting about 2 weeks or more, depending on how the weather is. I'm thinking it's really more like 3 weeks at least that it's lasting, but again, it's going to vary, of course, because you have no control over the weather at all though. So you figure at the most though, it's going to be $30 a month at the most. So with everything that I've talked about, unless I'm actually forgetting something, then, which I think I did pretty much cover everything, then the total is going to come out to around $366 per month. And like I said, that's on the high side. So really it could be a whole lot cheaper than that, but there's a lot of variables in there as far as depending on how things go from day to day and so forth. So you figure on the high side about $366, which is still a whole lot cheaper than if a person had got an apartment, because in my area the average apartment, 1-bedroom apartment, is going to be around $400 per month. That's just to rent the place. That's not including you paying your electricity and your gas, because we have gas to use as far as the cooking with the stove, and gas for the hot water heater and stuff like that we use in this area too, that we have to get. Some places has electricity for those items, but it's very rare. Most apartments and most places has the gas that you have to use with electric as well too. So you figure $400 per month for an apartment to rent, and then you got to pay for your electric and your gas as well too. And just recently there was a girl at work that was complaining about how last month her gas bill alone was $200 per month. And there was another guy that works there at the counter. Well, the girl actually has an apartment, but the guy that was working at the counter, he actually has a house. And he was like, "What, is that all?" In other words, like, he wished his was just $200 per month. He'd be glad if it was just $200 per month as far as the gas. So that right there can give you an idea as far as your cost as far as living if you live in an apartment, especially in this area. And I know some of you guys out there are going to say, well, it's cost a whole lot more in your area, especially like if you're in New York or California or someplace like that. But You know, I understand that, but you understand in this area, you know, the cost of living actually is not high. But still, if you compare living in the van compared to living in an apartment, then yeah, it's still definitely high enough. So if you got an apartment, you're paying $400 for rent. You pay about 150 to 200 bucks a month for your gas, and then so that's 600 right there. And then you pay for your electricity, which is going to be about another 100 to 150 probably. So that's like what, 700, 750. So you're looking around 750 bucks per month, as far as if you got an apartment going, what you're going to pay. And that's still not including your food either. Your food is going to be an extra cost as well, depending on, you know, where you shop out for your food too, though. So you gotta have all those things considered. So you're looking really about, excuse me, 800 bucks per month or more for your living expenses in an apartment, compared to, at the most, like I said, 366, and that's even on the high side as far as what I'm paying right now on average as far as staying in my van. So that gives you guys a breakdown. Sorry I couldn't get that focused in as far as the actual numbers, but you guys can write those numbers down if you need to and rewind the video or whatever. So, you know, you guys should be pretty much covered now as far as seeing what my expenses are. So thanks for watching, guys. If you have any more questions or concerns, let me know and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. Have a great day, guys. Hi guys, it's David again. I actually had somebody that asked me, well, one of my subscribers had asked me what my education level is. I'm not really sure why that's necessarily some real relevant or pertinent type of information, I guess, but I'll go ahead and talk about that since it was a request. I went through public schools as far as growing up, so I mean, I would say it's not necessarily the best education in the world since it was public schools, but it was something that was out of my control, definitely. And as far as high school, I did graduate high school, and I went to try to do some college after high school. It's a community college I tried to go to and tried to make work, but I didn't stay in there. Didn't like the classes I was in, and didn't like well, basically, yeah, point, you know, plain and simple, I didn't like the classes I was in. I mean, really not too much else to say about that. Not too much different, anything else to say about that, so I didn't stay in there. And later down the line after that, I did try to go to ITT Technical School, but the thing is about that, though, is it costs too much to go. I really did like that class, though, and well, the classes I was in, and really did like the program and everything. But the thing is that this was costing me too much, because at that time I was working at a car wash, and the recruiter for ITT rushed me in there too. So by the time I got to sit down with the recruiter, which I had actually already went to 2 classes by that time, but before I got to really sit down, not the recruiter, but financial aid, that's what I meant. By the time I got to sit down with financial aid and talk with them, I found out that after student grants and student loans both, I still would have to pay, I think it was like $300 a month, 300 or 400, somewhere around there, per month to be able to go. And at that time, like I said, I was working at the car wash, so, and plus still paying rent too for an apartment and stuff like that as well too. So there was no way in the world I was going to be able to afford to go. So I was pretty, I can't say devastated, but it was definitely annoying knowing the fact that I was not going to be able to stay in it, though, because I really did like the program. I really did want to try to see if I can make that work. It's just that unfortunately I could not afford it and could not afford to go. Also too, I did forget to mention, though, that when I was in high school, things actually almost did end up being a whole lot different, because I actually wanted to go into the service. And I think I've actually talked about that before in the past with some of my past videos, but I'll talk about it again. I wanted to go into the military because, in fact, too, I was in ROTC in high school. And so that being the case, if I could have got into the military after high school was over, I would have also been 2 ranks ahead than somebody just walking off the street and joining. So I would have had 2 ranks ahead as far as my pay, and I would have been you know, higher up in the command chain as well. If I could have got to go in. But my thing is on my senior year, I talked to different recruiters. I first talked to the recruiter as far as the one I was in, the branch I was in. Don't ask me because I'm not going to tell you, because of the fact that I got so many trolls out there and so many stalkers and stuff. But I first asked the branch that I was in, and they said no, I couldn't get in. And then I was like, well, okay. So I tried some other branches as well, 2 other branches, and they said the same thing, said that I couldn't get in either as well. So I was thinking, well, man, what am I going to do then? Because that's all I had my mind set on doing. So that actually was kind of a devastating thing to me, though, because that's all I had my mind set to do, was to go into the military after high school. So I didn't know what else to do. I had to try to think about what else I wanted to do with my life, because that's all I have my mind set on. And so yeah, I mean, I got a thyroid problem, and that's what stopped me from getting in. But excuse me, otherwise things could have been a whole lot different as far as my life and the roads that I would be traveling, you know, down the road of life and stuff like that as well, I guess. So yeah, that's that pretty much in a nutshell as far as how things have went as far as my education goes. I think probably the biggest education I've had, though, is the education, or the school of hard knocks, because I have seen how life can be both good and bad, and I have definitely lived on both sides of it too, as far as the good and the bad. So I know how to survive. I am a survivor, as you guys should be able to tell by now. And so yeah, I think the School of Hard Knocks has probably been one of the best schools I've had, really. But that's it, guys. Then, if you have any more questions or concerns, or any more requests too, as far as request videos, let me know, and I'll try to get that done and taken care of for you. Otherwise, thanks for watching, guys, and have a great day.